Hello? How's it going, champ? Boom. Almost a year, Pog. Sup, chat? Hi, kitty. Oh, I forgot to close my door. Do you want to... Wait, you might be able to open the stream saying hi to chat. Will you run if I slowly move towards you? Very slowly? He knows. He's waiting. Hi, little baby. What are you doing? I know. Hi. You're gonna go to my mouse pad. Yep. There's my mouse pad. See you later, dude. Hi, little baby. Now I'm gonna have to brush off my mouse pad from your hair again, huh? DLG Soldier, Bobo DC, G-Force, Crazy Lost K, Kern God, Tuna Pants. Thank you. Why does he love your mouse pad so much? It's because he wants to sit on my desk, but he doesn't know where to go, and the mouse pad is cushioned, so he just likes to go over there because cats just like things. What? What do you want, kitty? Come here. What's going on, you big old baby? Are you gonna purr straight into the microphone again? He's just a little lawnmower in the morning, chat. He actually just never stops purring. Although I have to talk at the same time because otherwise he won't proc the mic gate, but he's trying his best. Huh. Yeah, I know. You're a little baby. You just like to be picked up. I usually have my door closed, so he wants to go back to the mouse pad. Okay, see you later. If you placed a box on or near your desk, they would go to the box. Yes, he would. He likes to be high up, so if I put a box there, you just sit on the box. Also, he'll fall asleep on my mouse pad sometimes, so. Okay, 1 sec. I need to kick him out so I can actually use my mouse pad. I know. Come on. You monster. He's a baby. I didn't even like have to shoot him or anything. He knew I was gonna like pick him up and put him out the door, and he's just like, fine, I'll leave myself. I see how it is. Okay. Chat room. What have I missed? A nice hair streamer. Oh, thank you. I my hair was getting out of control, so I got a quick haircut yesterday. We were saved. Rogocop, thank you for 3 months. Okay. So yesterday, chat, I found an Overwatch 2 blog post was posted, and I did not read it until now. All right, I intentionally did not read it. An Overwatch 2 blog post. Did you donate your hair to the Browless? No, I think self-donating is in poor taste. Designing heroes for a new era. This is actually going to be an interesting one to read for me because the Overwatch team has been ideating and experimenting with a handful of heroes since the PvP beta wrapped up. Here's a hint to one of the heroes we're working on so far, Moira. We'll pick up new ideas for Moira, considering how she will perform. Led by associate hero designer Alex Kwok. Good old Alex. The hero balance and design team is looking at how to best update Moira's kit for Overwatch 2. She is an effective support, sometimes too effective in certain metas like goats. Oh no. However, we believe she lacks the playmaking ability and utility possessed by other supports on the roster. To improve the feel of her gameplay, we're iterating on fresh changes will give her kit more depth. As we navigate this goal, we're here to give you an inside look at how we ideate and iterate on hero design. This is what I kind of find interesting. Her kit more depth. Isn't the whole point of Moira to be an easy character? Although I guess being able to make plays and being easy to play are not necessarily the same thing. Also, Dev said the word goats. Yeah, that have the devs ever even used the word goats? They have, but did you already react to Modern Warfare 2? No. I did not. What is Modern Warfare? What does that even mean? Was there a new Call of Duty announced? A new trailer announced? Oh no, I don't need to watch a trailer. It's modern-er, more modern. I've never actually watched Call of Duty stuff every year because I'm just not into Call of Duty. So I just don't care. I've tried to get into Call of Duty in the past and every time it's just, yeah. Tim the Tatman is in it, Poggers. Oh, that's actually really cool though. Good for Tim. I love Tim. That is actually sick because he actually got started in Call of Duty like literally 10 years ago as a content creator, so he's happy. That must be very cool for him to do. It's generic IMO. What, Call of Duty? I mean, it's Call of Duty. Like, what do you expect? You're gonna pay $60 a year for a new game, but then you're gonna play for a battle pass and also skins that will disappear in like a year. It's usually how it works, right? Unless you're Warzone, I guess, because that's one of the actual things that just doesn't disappear now. Now they just like bundle it all in. Streamer, it is now $70 a year. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. Okay. So anyway, back to Moira. Okay. So they want to improve the feel of Moira, and they want to give her more depth. She lacks playmaking ability and utility possessed by other supports. I think that's generally true. If you think of it like Ana can hit big buttons and things happen, and they are plays. BAP feels the same way if you hit a good lamp at like mid long range. Although it is lamp, it's kind of boring. It's still play. Also, if BAP ever pops ult and then blasts somebody, the same exact thing. Lucio has insane boops, obviously. Playmaking. Mercy playmaking. Not even sure if Mercy playmaking necessarily exists, but you can actually go for plays on reses and stuff. Moira, what does Moira play look like? I have no idea. You just spray more. That's it. I can see why they'd want to change that. Presses her ultimate. Okay, but compare that to everything that we were just talking about where people are making a play versus I finally push my Q. A hold right click? Yeah. It is true. It is boring. So Teleolog with the 5-year resub. Thank you. I can see why they'd want to change it. Okay, let's go. Hero balance and design iteration process. We have 2 goals for Moira's kit. We wanted to give her more utility and the power to make game-changing plays. The design process is multifaceted and sometimes spontaneous. New ideas are shared with the entire hero balance and design team, and they collaborate and iterate on these concepts to see what works best. Some of these ideas make it into an internal playtest, while others send the team back to the drawing board. When an idea passes through an initial round of internal tests, it gets shared with leaders across the entire Overwatch team to turn this idea into an ability. After the ability comes to life, it gets polished. It goes into a wider internal test where anyone on Team 4 and extended support teams can play and share their thoughts. If the ability makes it through that final test, it's ready to share with the players. All the following iterations of Moira's abilities are still in the early stages, meaning they haven't been tested outside of the hero balance and design team. Oh, so that none of these are actually even internally being tested. Like, they basically just said, okay. So it's just the hero team, and then after it goes from the hero team, it gets sent out into basically the wider Overwatch team, and then after it goes to the wider Overwatch team, it goes to everyone else. You have to read more. No, this is it. And so it says, so there's 3. I guess that means there's only 2 or 3. So they were saying Brig 1.0 made it through like 6 tests. Okay, stop, dude. Stop. Listen, okay, dude. After the ability comes to life and gets polished. This is just, yeah, who cares? We got it. He got you there. I mean, I was thinking it too, right? We were all kind of thinking something like that. Iteration 1, Pain Converter. One of the first changes the team thought to make was referred to as a Pain Converter. This ability was a damage reduction that when cast on allies would enable Moira to convert the damage she mitigated to fill up her healing. Pain Converter would cancel some of the damage an ally received while simultaneously allowing her to heal allies with Biotic Grasp, massively increasing her target survivability. This iteration didn't stick. I'm already having panic. Dude, I'm panicking. I'm like, oh my God, this sounds horrible. And not because of anything they just said. I'm just like, oh no. Anyway, this iteration didn't stick because of a few issues. Pain Converter felt like other existing abilities like BAP's and Mortality Field that prevents teammates from dying. The ability also felt too situational because you get the most value from using it on the tank and not teammates getting dove or flanked. Lastly, Moira already has a complete kit, and we struggled to find room where you could add another ability. That's what I was... Okay. Let me read the full thing before we go on the next one. We tried binding Pain Converter to reload, but it felt awkward because Moira wasn't reloading a weapon. There's a brief iteration where players could activate it by holding down primary and secondary simultaneously, but the keybind added a level of clunkiness. Moira's frequently switch between primary and secondary, so the ability will often accidentally trigger. It's also interesting that they never brought up the fact that adding a giant single target heal to one of the best AoE healers for Deathball might be a problem. But I think the way I view things that would ever get added to the game is different than how other people would because I'm looking at it strictly from the meta POV of just, would this feel good to play against? Not necessarily would it feel good to play or anything else. I would just immediately be worried as somebody who's played Overwatch for years of the immediate, hey, you guys just walked in. And I know this is only iterations and they're opening, like they aren't adding this to the game, right? It was just something they tried. So you have to give them like credit for that. But what I'm trying to say is it's very scary to add healing and mitigation abilities to a game that already had support power creep for 2 to 3 years that fundamentally changed the game. And so it's weird to then see the first iteration on Moira being this. Although I understand they're just tossing abilities out there, right? And that makes sense. Anyway, iteration 2, Purge and Nullify. The next 2 abilities, Purge and Nullify, were separate iterations that were both bound to damage Biotic Orb. Purge was heavily influenced by WoW Shaman classes, and it would remove buffs from enemies. Are there that many buffs? That's interesting. I never thought about that. I'm like, are there even that many buffs? Since this type of ability fits with Moira's personality, I started thinking about what buffs could be removed. We considered Purge canceling On a Boost Nano or Soldier 76's Sprint, but wasn't super intuitive. Yeah, that's what I'm like. What do you even remove? And then also, should that also remove Soldier's legs? So what is this, like a half EMP? Anyway, for example, Dragon Blade gives a small speed boost, and it's not clear something like that should be removed by Purge. Also, Dragon Blade's speed boost is invisible in Overwatch. It was difficult to tell which abilities would be removed with Purge. The ability was archived, and the concept behind it led to the creation of Nullify. Nullify came to life when we started to rein in the scope of Purge. Nullify negated damage reduction, damage boost, and movement speed while active. For example, it suppressed the effects of Nano Boost for a few seconds. The team's goal with Nullify was to come to a consensus about what types of abilities should be suppressed. One way the team attempted to add depth to Nullify was enabling Moira to stop her orbs in place, creating orbs of healing or nullification for teammates and enemies. Another iteration of Nullify dealt extra damage to Overhealth, so if Lucio used Sound Barrier, Nullify, his shields would be destroyed rapidly. This change felt tacked on, difficult to understand, so Overhealth was eventually removed. However, it still wasn't obvious what Nullify did while playing a match. You only noticed it for the most part if you had damage boost, reduction, or speed. Otherwise, you couldn't really feel the ability, especially compared to something extremely visceral like Sleep Dart. This thinking led to the conception of a third new ability, Weaken. Yeah, I mean, Purge, Nullify, all these things, buffs in Overwatch are very invisible. Exactly what I was saying like a minute ago. Like, what do you even consider a buff in Overwatch? And that's what they immediately hopped into. Like, fuck, what do we do with this? And then yeah, they're like, wait, this doesn't work. This is actually cool, though, this ability being the ability to stop orbs in place and they do more damage and stuff like that. I can see stuff like that, but that would be cool. Purple and Nano are pretty visible. Should you be able to cleanse Nano on a basic ability? Isn't that just a hard counter and kind of boring? Iteration 3, Weaken. Weaken is the current iteration the team is working on. Ooh. Recent. This ability begins charging when reload is pressed once, causing Moira to build up energy in her hand. After Weaken is charged, Moira can fire a projectile that significantly lowers attack and healing output. She can choose when to fire this projectile or hold it at the cost of not being able to use her primary or secondary fire at the same time. We're considering something with a small projectile size like on a Sleep Dart. When we have an ability that requires players to manage things like timing, ult tracking, or accuracy, we have more room to make something that's going to feel impactful to use and fair to play against. Skill shots are broadly more counterable, which is another reason we can make them powerful in the game. We like Sleep Dart even though we're removing a lot of CC from Overwatch 2 because it requires more to effectively use the non-skill shot abilities. The team played around with the idea of attaching a passive effect to our alt fire, but found that we would have to lower the overall potency due to the damage beam's high uptime. Yeah, it would just feel useless. You have to do like 10% or something. Weaken won't have the same uptime, so you could have more room to turn into a playmaking, game-changing ability. It won't feel free to land, and Moira will have to manage timing, position, and cast direction to successfully use Weaken. We aren't sure if this iteration will make it into the game. We're still testing it, but it's looking promising so far. Interesting. It makes her 1v1 even stronger. Yeah, that's what I was actually thinking. I was like, oh no, imagine you get to the Moira and she just weakens you, then just sits there and autos her and she gets literally stand still and you start headshotting her or something for like 10 damage. I don't know, it depends on the tuning. It's weird. I don't know how to feel about stuff like this. Also, Rebel Arc, thank you for the Prime. Taylor Swift, Shelly, Samora, Yu-Gi-Oh, thank you. She has to charge it, and that time you could kill her. Yeah, it all depends on how it's tuned. Because it depends on, like, if it's a long charge up. If it's not, how far does it go? Like, if there's a Widowmaker across the map and I throw a Weaken across the map at this Widow, like the equivalent of a Sleep Dart going across the map, right? Would it mean that she can no longer like one-shot my teammates for a little bit, like 5 seconds? Or is this, you know, stuff like that? I don't know. But it's weird. Stuff like Weaken is very trying to think here. I really feel like the person who'd probably get thrown on the most is going to be the tank. If it's an actual skill shot. Because tanks, Roadhog, Winston, Hammond, Diva, removing tank damage removes them as a threat. Yeah, it really depends on so much tuning and numbers and stuff like that, and like charge up and wind up, and like it's so hard to tell or even say something like this. But it's interesting that, is this not just another ability just straight up being added to Moira, who is already pretty powerful as a character? Are they removing anything, or is this just, are like changing anything else? Oh, I didn't even, yeah, then also, it also lowers healing output. Yeah, true. This is a weird one. Hopefully she stops being a no-skill hero. True. She has never been a no-skill. That's concept used by Genjis to think they're smarter and better than everyone else. Stop baiting. This is bait. Don't fall for this guy. God damn it. That's a good one. It's interesting though, right? I don't even know. I'd have to actually think about it. This is I never even thought about like the idea of a weekend, because what this basically is just a sleep dart, but replace sleep dart instead of a CC just means that you do like half damage or half healing for the next like 5 seconds, right? If she hits you with it. And I don't understand, like, yeah, that's a lot of playmaking potential as an example, but Moira already does so many things. How are you ever going to balance that? I have no idea. And balance is something we'll have to figure out later, I guess, but yeah, we'll see. Also, you can run away, sleep is a death sentence. No, what I'm referring to is stuff like, let's say you know your tank is dying, and, or like, because it's hard because she can't heal or damage while she's charging it up, so there is actual like opportunity cost there, of like, oh, you know, this or that and blah blah blah. What I mean is, what, so my tank runs at the other tank, and then I just, if I ever hit their other tank with that, as an example, like let's say I'm with my tank and I'm just hard pocketing, and I actually hit that dart, let's just call it a dart because it's not really a dart, but I don't know what they're going to call it, but then I do it on the enemy tank, it'd be, what, my tank just walks at him now, and then they just win. I feel like they aren't addressing the core issue. People want Moira change because her basic attack is annoying to anyone who can't land every headshot. That's what I was confused about, actually, was the whole principle of this, where it says we want to give her more utility and the power to make game-changing plays. That's what I don't understand, because Moira is already an extremely powerful hero, right? She just sort of runs around and spams AoE healing and can never die to dive, right? That's already like her core character to some extent, of being the anti-dive healer, right? If anyone jumps on you, Zamora, you shift. If anyone runs on you, you just kill them. And then you have massive lifesteal so you don't die. You have AoE healing. You don't have utility, you're raw power, right? And so I find it interesting that then they're turning around going, yeah, now we want to give her utility instead of just leaning more into the power side of things. And the power side of things being skill-based, I think at least a little bit would be interesting. So like an example, over here, this one line I thought was actually really interesting, which was one way the team attempted to add depth and nullify was enabling Moira to stop her orbs in place, creating areas of healing or for nullification for teammates and enemies. Like, imagine if every time Moira just hit reload, her orb would stop moving for a second. Stuff like that. Then you'd have timing at throwing your orbs at people and stuff like that. I mean, that's a type of more basic fundamental decision that I think would be, make it like Erisipol. That's evil. You should never do this. Please don't even write. Please stop. What I mean is, like, to add at least a tiny bit more skill ceiling and depth to the character But when you start adding utility to Moira, that's just a healing and DPS powerhouse, I guess. That's what I always consider the hero. It's weird because I don't know, the way I look at Moira, and I think the way other people look at Moira is different. I look at Moira as the Zug healer. She will walk at you with AoE healing and she does damage, and then her ultimate is just more healing and damage. And her stats as a result on the scoreboard are always ridiculous because she's always pumping a lot of healing, she's always pumping a lot of damage, and she's very forgiving. So if you just want to be a brain dead player, just walk around, have a good time, and blast, Moira is your character. But I can totally see why people would find it boring though, because you don't actually do that much as Moira. Like you're kind of there is. I can see why they want to add more depth, but the adding utility part is weird to me because it almost goes against what I consider to be the hero's identity, which is very funny because I think the way I view the characters, like that character's role in the game, is different than how devs do, because how devs view a character's roles are also all the things they think about behind the scenes of stuff that they didn't put in the game and like how it got formed and this and that. Whereas I just see it as it is only in the game and I know nothing else. I'm just like, yeah, if you want to go Moira, that's just when you just want to blast. The hero's identity being brain dead. Yeah, I mean, noob player friendly characters are core to Overwatch. It would feel very weird if a character like Mercy was suddenly as mechanics heavy as Widowmaker to heal. It would feel weird if Winston suddenly required as much aim as like Tracer. But there's ways you could do that. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is Overwatch has always been that type of game that has a massive variety of playstyles and skill requirements, right? So anyway, I just find this blog I find interesting because I thought they were going to go in the other direction, which was stuff like this. Ways to try and get Moira slightly more depth in her current gameplay rather than giving her straight up more utility. But it does make sense though. The idea of what does a Moira play look like? And then, well, the biggest support plays in the game come from Ana, who has massive utility. Maybe other support should have a little bit of that too. I don't know. I'm not a game dev. I'm just describing my experience as a player of the game for far too much time. And my intuition as a player just says, Moira's the Zug healer. Why does she need utility? If you want to give her depth, just give her something a little more, just a tiny bit, because she's also like the new friendly one. You just need to increase the top end. But anyway, whatever. It doesn't matter. That's just my opinion as one person. At the very least, I'm happy they're actually talking about it. Very rare that they have ever talked about this. When's the last time they went in depth on something like this? I don't even know. It's been ages. I'm a fan of them talking about it. Ana is just dead meat without mobility help. Ana is like the most powerful support in the game right now. I'm pretty confident she was. I mean, I haven't played Overwatch 2 in a few weeks, but I'm pretty confident she was by far like one of the most popular and good supports. Overwatch seriously lacks in healer diversity as far as engaging gameplay. I like the effort. Does it though? I know what you mean in terms of number of healers, but all of the current healers are very different at the very least. Because you have like Ana who shoots people, Bap who's AoE grenades, Moira who sprays people, Lucio who's an aura, Brig who requires you to poke people to proc auras, right? Mercy who is just I lock on and I start healing you. It feels that way because there's so few. Yeah. Anyway, let's read the last bit. Ideas and iterations aren't always discarded when we don't initially use them. They're often resurfaced and used for future heroes. An example of this being Overwatch's first post-launch hero, Ana. Originally codenamed Alchemist, her first incarnation tossed potions at her teammates and wielded a healing grenade launcher. Once we decided the Alchemist would be Ana, her potions became a biotic grenade and her weapon transformed into a healing rifle to fit with her story. The Alchemist's original weapon would later become Bap's biotic launcher. The ideas we're sharing with you are intended to offer more insight to our dev process and a preview of the type of changes we may implement in the future for Moira. These iterations are completely independent of balance and solely focused on making Moira a more fun and exciting hero to play. We balance heroes after we can look at their complete kit all at once. Balance and design are not mutually exclusive, but they coexist at the same time and multiple factors that influence them both. The Moira iterations are one piece of what's going on within the hero design and balance team. There are many other changes being tested and considered across the entire roster. While we aren't quite sure what we will be changing for Moira or when those changes will happen, we're confident that we won't add something that isn't viable for our community and game. Like all heroes within Overwatch, Moira is incredibly important to us. We want to do justice by her character and kit, and we're excited what's in store for her. I feel like they added this entire sentence or two down here just because of Mercy players and Brig players who get very, very passionate online. They're not wrong on the balance stuff, though. I mean, you just design something that's fun. Although, I do want to point out something that's actually missing here. That is, let's Control F. We have more room to make something that is going to feel both impactful to use and fair to play against. Okay, they set it up here. I was like, they said this at one point. I'm surprised they didn't end with it too. It's funny. Just the core, solely focus on making a Moira for a more fun and exciting hero to play. And then I feel like the untold second half of that sentence is more fun and exciting hero to play with and against. Because Moira is also boring as fuck to play against. She just sits there and she's just like, there's nothing crazy going on. There's nothing interesting. You're just slowly dying as she goes 80, and that's it. So anyway, dying to a damage orb poggers, getting bullied by her. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's mostly just funny. And they set it up top though. The actual designer said, we have more room to make something that's going to feel more both impactful to use and fair to play against. So they are talking about it. I just thought it was funny. Unless you're D.Va, there's no real counterplay to orbs. Yeah, that's why I was actually, when they briefly mentioned up here this one sentence, I thought the rest of the blog post was going to be on this idea. Enabling Moira to stop her orbs, creating areas of healing or damage. So I thought they were going to do something like, as an example, her damage orb does like half damage while moving, and then does like 30% more damage than it does right now if you sit in it and it stands still in an AoE. And then she would have to time that as a character. Something like that would be fundamentally, anyway, that's just an idea I really, really liked, and I was instantly caught. I was like, oh, that would actually be interesting. I don't know if it would be good. And I thought that was their next iteration because they talked about it, but they didn't yet. But it's because they wanted utility. This specifically, they said utility. Anyway, Silver to Goat, 20 months. Shinden, 20 months as well. Firebiting, Mr. Ninja, Ein Bison, Robo Joe. Thank you for all the subs. Why did they start thinking about Moira reworks after beta 1? What were they doing the last 3 years? We all know what they were doing the last 3 years, chat. They were building Destiny Overwatch, a massive PV game that is probably going to take them another 3 years or 4 years. So, the chat, time is a loop, okay? Maybe you guys forget how we got here. You guys remember when that WoW team during Wrath of the Lich King got reassigned, not reassigned, but they all started working on this other game called Titan, which was this really massive PvE FPS MMO, and they worked on that and spent like $100 million or more on that game internally at Blizzard for years and years, and it never came out. And then that team was disbanded. That was Titan, and they had a core team of like 60 people left, and then they made Overwatch, which was the fastest game they ever made. And then immediately after that, they returned back into PvE to try and make Titan 2.0, apparently. That's what obviously it's not. What I'm saying is like it's very funny how time is just time is a loop, chat, okay? Then they're like, no, let's go back and build this PvE thing. And then they go back to Overwatch 2. And they're like, guys, let's go back to PvE. We can do this fast. And then they spend another like 5 years on it. And then they're like, oh shit, guys, this game's taken way too long. Fuck, let's just get this PvP thing out the door real quick. It's like, wait, haven't I heard this before? Didn't we just go through this like 5 years ago? It's very funny. StarCraft goes soon, Copium? No, I just mean that it's mostly just funny that like PV games are very, very hard. That is all. And then calling the new PvP Overwatch 2 is ridiculous. Well, of course it's ridiculous because Overwatch 2 at its core is supposed to be the PvE game, but it's not out. That's it. That is all. Anyway, what else is there? Nothing I just said is new, by the way. I've said all that shit forever. And also, I don't even know the scale of Overwatch PV whatsoever. When I compare it to Titan 2.0 or Destiny, I'm just memeing. I just assume that if they've been working on something like that for that long, they must have fallen into, holy shit, you must be building a big game. Seagull, that annoying armory bug was fixed. Oh, really? Respawn, what you got? Let me see this. This is a short patch note. What the hell is this? Improper ranked rewards. The correct dive trails badge will start rolling out to players. Exploits related clipping through the roof. A mantling bug after teleporting and various script errors. Oh, thank God. I'm saved. I can actually just solo queue and go in the armory and be able to climb walls. Thank goodness. The guy who said, don't you have phones, tweeted a spicy tweet. You could link me that if you want. I mean, Diablo Immortal, any updates on Diablo Immortal? I think it's actually hilarious. Don't you have credit cards? No. What it is Diablo Immortal is the current dumpster fire of the gaming industry, and gaming industry being Blizzard in general right now. So that whole saga is incredibly bad. Don't you have 110k? So keep in mind, I think that original 110k like number that was floating around is also not true, and it's much, much higher. Pretty confident. My name is Chad. Wait, my name is Chat, not Chad. Thank you for 61 months. It's higher. It's much higher. And the reason it's much higher is actually because of let me see if I can find it on. It's one of the pity systems. Here, this was posted on the subreddit. I'll just show you. So in the game, there's these things called legendary gems. You get the stars go up, right? Apparently, it says every 50 legendary crests guarantee 1 5-star, but a 5-star gem is not a 5-star. A 5-star is the potential to get anything out of 5. And if you read the small print inside the shop, every 50 legendary crests guarantee 1 5-star question mark out of 5, which is why, for example, if you go to Quinn's stream, Quinn has been doing a challenge recently in Diablo Immortal where he buys $25 rifts, and he wants to see how long it's going to take him to get a single 5-star gem. He has spent $11,000 at $25 per rift, and he has not found a single 5-star gem yet. And so people are wondering, wait, isn't there a pity system for this type of thing? As a meme, isn't there a pity system here? Like, shouldn't you be getting guaranteed after a certain point? Because that's how most of these games work, right? Like in Gacha Impact and in other games, you are guaranteed to get a certain 5-star after a certain amount of time, right? And so it turns out that, like, yeah, you could get a 5-star gem, but then you just have to upgrade it later. That's also NZD, so more like 7k. Oh yeah, it's more like 6-7k USD. But you get the idea, right? Give them more money to prove your point. Chat, do you guys really think that someone like Quinn showing off how ridiculous this entire system is? One second. Let's just go because let's quickly talk about this. You can't upgrade to 5 out of 5. You can. It just requires you to have 5 out of 5 gems. As an example, chat, Quinn has 27,000 viewers who are watching and shitting on Blizzard this entire time, and he's streaming this all day of how ridiculous this entire situation is. Do you think Quinn, as a solo person, giving away $11,000 to Blizzard in this case is worth them the negative PR of having 27,000 people shitting on them for 12 hours straight? No, it's a PR disaster for Blizzard no matter what. That's how that works. It's not worth it at all for them. Blizzard does, like, that's just not how that works. The real thing here is when it comes to stuff like this, like, the sad part is the core of this monetization and everything that we're talking about, the game is actually beneath all that monetization not bad. Like, it's actually pretty good. It's just a mobile game. It's mobile Diablo, and it's well done. The story's good. The campaign's good. The gameplay is okay. Like, it's, I say okay because it's cooldown centric and it's a little bit boring after a while, but it's a mobile game, right? But then they add on all these systems to it, and it's very, very bad. Shill? Wait, what? Dude, what? Calm down. Calm down. It's basically Diablo 3 gameplay. I say it's basically not because Immortal is, I mean, it's just a mobile game. So it's like very, very cooldown centric. What I'm saying is good games like this are just dumpstered by horrible monetization. And you know when you build something like that, what you're doing. It's the irony is that Quinn is throwing shitloads of money at Blizzard to prove a point. So Blizzard still wins in this situation? No, they don't. They just don't. Not in that situation, it is not. Anyway. Streamers, 6K is nothing to Blizzard. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, guys, the whole point of showing off how terrible this game is in terms of monetization discourages so many future people from playing the game that it costs them a lot more money than $7,000. Okay? And $7,000 to $1 billion company, they don't care. That's the whole point of why those people are doing that. That's just how that works. Do you need 5 stars to clear endgame in Diablo? Genshin does not have that requirement. So this is the fundamental problem behind Diablo Immortal that not many people from what I've seen are talking about, but it's just the nature of how Diablo works as a video game. A lot of the time, Diablo style endgame comes down to how high can I push rifts, right? There's no, like, there are specific like raids and stuff I would imagine at endgame in Diablo, because they actually do have that in Diablo Immortal. But when you start talking like endgame, what's the end of a game that allows you to say, I want to grind as much gear as possible to make the rift number go up? Right? And unfortunately, so how they actually present it to you is things like, let's say you did a challenge rift, and when you're done, you can like share what you did. It'll specifically say like you did a challenge rift that was greater than 85% of the player base. It'll give you a percentile straight up. And so they add like this competitive element to a lot of these things at endgame, because that's what the Diablo endgame is, right? How high can you make the rift go up? And so it's not like the basic, let's talk about, I guess, Lost Ark or Genshin Impact style content where like, I'll just talk about Lost Ark. I don't know what Genshin Impact. Let's talk specifically Lost Ark. The equivalent to me is like, let's say I'm a free-to-play player, right? I've been playing my character for a little bit. Yeah, sure, I had to grind a few ults, but then I got to go and play and do that same raid, right? That raid that just came out. Fuck, it starts with a V. I can't remember the name or whatever, right? And so an example is the whale and me are both in the same raid doing the same content. And then imagine if at the end of the Lost Ark raid, it says that it has a pop-up that says something like, you did more damage than 50% or 60% of players on this raid. Suddenly, the guy wailing, who has way higher item level than you in Lost Ark and maybe walks in like plus 20 or 30, suddenly it makes you feel bad. And that's, I guess, what I'm trying to give that reference to. MVP is a thing in Lost Ark. Not percent, it's not the same. It is not the same. It is a thing, but that's relative to the people in your group, not at all percentile according to the entire player base. It's a different story, because rifts and how greater rifts scale and stuff like that are just fundamentally very, very different compared to having like a very specific like piece of content that everyone runs. And it just flows in very, very well. And then also, let's just talk about the more fundamental pay to win, right? All of this monetization bullshit is enabled in PvP. And here's the funny part. A lot of the monetization is capped. So for example, in Diablo, even if you have like double the combat rating in Diablo Immortal, you are capped at only doing 10% more damage or whatever as another player, right? That is definitely absolutely pay to win to an extent, but they cap it. But instead, there's other stats that aren't capped, and it gets much more sneaky about how pay to win ends up working out in Diablo Immortal. So for example, in Diablo Immortal, you might not be able to just to have insane gear and run up and one-shot a guy, but there are other stats that increase your CC duration. And so maybe you walk up and your stun lasts 50% longer than the other guy, and you just 100-0 him in a combo. Because you swiped. And that's a thing, and most people don't know about it. But the only reason I know that's a thing, because I happen to watch a 50 viewer streamer who was rank 1 necromancer, and he made a YouTube video about he says he was talking about the actual pay to win elements of Diablo Immortal. He went over all the stats of how it was pay to win, and he said something like, yeah, combat rating is capped in PvP. You cannot wail to just to one shot people, but you can wail and just CC them. And it was like, oh no. Can you link that video? I have to find it again. I have to go see. Hi from NASA. What's up, Rishi? Are you actually a NASA? Pog. Captain Scrapples. Kai Win. Land Warder. Thank you for the subs. I would also like to see that video. There's a few of them. You guys will... Okay. If you want to know all of those... Like, if you guys want to dive more into like how those games monetize and how they work, a lot of the most popular videos don't really dive into it enough, because they go on the surface level of how evil the monetization is. But because they are not the ones who are also grinding 20 hours a day to see how bad it is at endgame, they don't have all the info yet, not all the specific details. And if you want that information, chat, 99% of the time, I'll tell you what I do. This is how I do it for any game, and this is always how it works. You just go to a random directory on Diablo Immortal. As an example, you wait until like midnight or 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. in American time zones, right? And I guarantee you there's going to be some degenerate who's going to have in their title rank 1, has like 300 viewers or less, completely small streamer, has literally never streamed in their life, and they're going to be here at 2 a.m. and then it's going to have their little stream up time, and it's going to say like 20 hours. Okay, you need to find the most degenerate neckbeard gamer in the middle of the Twitch directory, and this is true for any game. It always works. I promise you. I will check. Yeah, just wait. They're all sleeping right now. You got to come back at like 2 a.m. And so what you'll end up finding is those people inevitably make content, and at the start it's never that popular, but then later on they do get more and more popular, because what they say, they have like information that other people straight up don't know or fully understand, because they are the neckbeards of their game. You know what I mean? They're like the fucking god of their video game for the next like 2 weeks, because they've pumped 140 hours in the first 2 weeks and they are chilling, and now they know everything. And then what happens when most of the no-lifers are the top streamers like Path of Exile? Well, that's the long term. Those people who are the degenerates are the people who stick around for that game in the long run. And so they end up becoming the most popular people in the long run in those specific gaming communities, right? It wasn't like all the PoE people that you knew just started that way. They were just the neckbeards who got really popular because they did the crazy shit in the game of all the people that knew. So anyway, Stumpy, thank you for the prime. Cost at 14 months. Rap math, pi equals 4. Thank you. I just saw a Reddit post of Apex Pro Sweet getting mad at his teammates for putting 160 hours into Lost Ark in the last 2 weeks instead of practicing Apex. For a what? That's wild. Oh, man. So wait. Do they have like a tournament or something? 60 hours a week? Well, no. Okay. Okay, look. 160 hours in 2 weeks must be between them both. No, that'd be each. The question is, when is the next tournament for them? That's the real question, because this happens to pros all the time. If they don't have a tournament in a while, then they're just going to go degen another game and not do anything. Oh God, Energy Sweet calls out his teammates. Competitive Apex. Oh God, there's a competitive Apex subreddit. Oh no, this is already bad. If it's anything like the Overwatch one, it's whew. Don't watch it. Why am I clicking on this? I'll just listen to it. Turn back
for ALGS.
Wait, I have to listen to this now. This actually sounds. I have to listen to this.
My team for ALGS is Inaju Baka and Inaju Nathan. You probably have never heard of them before because they don't play the fucking game that they're paid to play, and they are slowly washing themselves. Let's do a quick check on Nate's hours.
Why was I linked this? This is hilarious.
NRG Nathan. What do you guys think? Does Nate
oh my God, he's
20
actually
hours
pulling
Apex
up their
last 2
Steam
weeks?
profiles on stream.
All right. He has 183 hours in the past 2 weeks. Are 20 of these Apex? What do we think, guys? What do we think? Does Nate have 20 hours in Apex? Does he?
Oh,
I think he does. There's no way Nate doesn't have 20 hours, right? He has to. Okay.
Oh
And
no,
the reveal
dude.
is 18 hours. 165 on Lost Ark. Holy shit.
God, dude.
Holy shit. I literally actually am in disbelief. Guys, you want to hear the sad part? Rockers is so bad that his account is privated, so no one can check it.
What do you
These are the
mean?
people that I compete with in professional Apex. This guy's name is Moo Man, and his account is private, so I can't fucking see his hours.
See,
let's actually expose Rocker real quick. Let's get up on the tracker. Hold on.
the track. Oh no. See, normally I'd say this guy's got to be sarcastic at some point, but I think he's actually mad.
All right, match history. Minus 59 RP, minus 28, minus 59, minus 63, minus 63, plus 272, minus 46, minus 63, minus 63, minus 63, minus 59, minus 29, minus 63, minus 62, plus 58, minus 60, minus 63. Bro, what? This guy is in fucking diamond.
Uh-oh, I'm
Losing
almost
RP. Oh my god.
I can see why this got posted to a competitive Apex. I'm not going to read any of the comments because I don't know the abyss that is the competitive Apex scene. But that's pretty funny. That's actually hilarious, dude. It's toxic. Well, okay. I mean, realistically, most of the time, chat, what you do is if your teammates aren't doing shit, you just call them the fuck out, like on a team in one-on-one. You know, there's a difference between I promise you he's always sarcastic. I don't think he was sarcastic there. I think someone calling out their teammates like that on stream is probably a little serious. Okay, I think you're definitely kind of serious, and definitely being a little bit mad. They wouldn't pick up the phone. They're too busy playing Lost Ark. Oh no. But yeah, what I mean is that's actually just funny. He's not wrong though. Well, no, I mean, most of the time, I mean, I don't know how old that person is. But I will say most people in esports are very young. I'm pushing 30, chat. I've been on teams since I was literally 8 years old. Okay, like, or even earlier than that, playing in tournaments. That's what I did for something like 20 years before I stopped. Okay, legitimately, like, I think my first tournament I played in was like when I was 8 or 9 years old till I was like 28. The Swede is 22. I mean, it's young. I'll just say what it is. Most of the time, those people, you'll end up calling people out individually, and if they don't say anything, then you end up just. That's when you start flaming them in public a little more, because then maybe they don't care. But anyway, it's mostly just funny. More than anything, now that I'm not involved at all, and I know no one. That's not true. I know Rocker. I played with an Apex tournament with Rocker. That guy's cool. He was fun. I was also a god at the game, which makes sense that he got signed to NRG. Now that I think about it. Oh god. How good are you if you're playing 80 hours a week? Aren't you going to burn out, lose focus? No, what he's saying is like, oh no, did someone, oh dude, someone found the WoW pasta. This is a reminder to all raiders. If we see anyone playing Lost Ark, we will take that as your resignation to the guild, and you will be removed from Discord and the guild. You are here to raid and play on TBC. We will not tolerate our raiders playing other MMOs. We will also assume if you post during the first post out as in like don't show up to raid during the first few weeks of Lost Ark that you are playing it behind our back, so it'll be swiftly removed. This is not for debate. It's a classic guild, dude. The best part is that pasta was a screenshot from a Discord that got pasted online, and people created that pasta from it. I remember seeing that screenshot directly linked. It was sick. It's actually so good. And I want to say, I don't think it was a Lost Ark pasta. I think it was actually a retail WoW guild for Classic, but I'm not entirely sure. It was something else. I could have sworn it was like maybe it was either a retail guild talking about Classic or a Classic guild talking about retail. I thought it was WoW specific. It had nothing to do with Lost Ark, but then somebody adapted the pasta and changed it for Lost Ark. So I think it was a pasta for Shadowlands launch. Wait, isn't that even weirder though? What was happening in Classic around the time that Shadowlands came out? That people would care that much? Usually, unless there's like a new, I mean, I guess it depends if they synced up their patches. I thought Blizzard would stagger their patches a little bit. AQ Nax? I have no idea. Nax was December 2020. Okay, Nax is out, Pong. Don't mind me, it's just a fucking old Twitch meme. You're gonna watch the OTK Expo. Chat, what the hell's an OTK Expo? I saw that Asmon had a big thing yesterday, and I clicked on it, and they were on some stage, and I clicked off in 5 minutes, but I thought they just dumped a bunch of money into some show, and that was it. But I don't know what it was. Or what they're doing. Are you gonna watch Summer Games Fest tomorrow? Yes. Yes. I want to watch Summer Games Fest tomorrow. Also specifically, Frost Giant Studios, which is the group of people who made StarCraft at Blizzard, all the devs who worked at the RTS department at Blizzard. After Blizzard decided they didn't want to make RTS games anymore, they left Blizzard and made Frost Giant Studios. Frost Giant is announcing their game tomorrow at Summer Games Fest or whatever. They tweeted that, so pretty sure. I think it was tomorrow, or is it today at OTK? I don't remember which one. Maybe you guys are right. Maybe it is today. I thought, well, now that there's 2 expos apparently in the last 2 days, maybe it is today. Maybe you guys are right. Because that'll be a new actual RTS game, which will be weird. When's the last time we had a new RTS game? OTK is today, Summer Game Fest tomorrow. Yeah, I have to go look it up. I have to go see when the Frost Giant thing is. Age of Empires 4. Huh. We've had a lot of indie RTS games in AoE 4. I feel like most of the time I haven't been paying attention to RTS stuff. Will you stream Summer Games Fest? Yeah. Yeah, I'm in. Someone said I can't co-stream the OTK thing unless I sign up somewhere, and so I haven't done any research into that, and apparently it starts in like 1 minute, so I don't know if I can do anything. The Frost Giants Twitter says Summer Games Fest. Oh, okay. There's a post on their Twitter about co-streaming it. Let me try and find this. I mean, I would imagine all the big publishers are not doing OTK. They would definitely just be doing Summer Games Fest, but there'd probably be a lot of indie devs showing stuff off at OTK if they're actually doing something like that. This is it, the co-streaming rules. Wait, what is this? OTK Games Expo must be in the title, but no rights of third parties, no advertising. Please don't advertise in these topics. Integrated. Okay. No gambling, lotteries, casino, poker, and or sports betting platforms. What? This isn't Twitch? Excuse me? Where's my... Oh, God. But yeah, when does this start? Should I watch it today, chat, or what? You think it's worth it? OT Games Expo just must be in the title. It just started right now. Wait, is it on Asmon stream? Apex is broken anyway. Wait, are the Apex servers down? I'm down to try it. Wait, I have to change my title though. Show what's my title.